Hello everyone, KingDooms here. This video is going to be a bit different. It isn't going to be your typical Project Smash gameplay video with Wraith and stuff. This time, I'm going to be rating out a very nice story that my good friend Null has wrote out about her journey and experience on Project Smash. So sit back and relax, grab a cup of coffee, use this as a background sound or something, and hear me out as I tell you a little bedtime story. Project Smash, a game I hold dear to my heart. At the time of writing the script, it's almost been a year since the game has been out, and almost a year since I've started playing. If you don't know what Project Smash is, it's a battleground-ish game that's similar to Brawlhalla and Smash Brothers, putting a twist to the then oversaturated battlegrounds genre and introducing a percentage meter at the top of the players' heads, instead of a health system. It was very unique. Many loved it. I personally fell in love with it immediately. I joined after seeing Sketch's first video on it back in January. I remember at the time my ex just had gone back into my life and he wanted to play some Roblox, but I was slowly moving away from Roblox. I didn't know what game to play, so I decided to try out Project Smash with my ex. Needless to say, I had a blast. So I came back the next day to play more, then the next for more, and god did I enjoy each one of those hours spent on this game. Fast forward to now and it just doesn't feel the same anymore. I don't know if it's because I spent too much time on it or something, but this game just doesn't hit the same anymore. It's clear that the game has fallen from its prior glory, from getting 16,000 players to barely being able to scratch 2,000 on peak hours. How did this even all happen? On January 2nd, 2024, Project Smash would be born, after being in development for about 3 months. The game was unique, as Project Smash would bring in a breath of fresh air. I can't say anything about this period because I wasn't playing the game yet, let alone hearing anything of it. The game only had 2 characters, though being Ninja and Knight in the D tier. A week later, on January 7th, the game would have its first update, bringing in 2 new characters, Archer and Boxer. Again, I wasn't playing at this time, so there isn't much I can say. Another week has gone by, and on January 13th, the game would be updated again. This would become a trend, with the game updating every 7 days, or 6 days, whatever. This update brought in 2 more characters, Sumo and Viking. Now here I can personally speak about this because I joined 3 days later on January 16th. Like I said, I played with my ex and had a blast. Yeah, sure, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just pressing keys and hoping something would land, but it was fun. I had so much fun. Now about the characters. At the time, I didn't have them, but playing against them was just not bad. Mostly everyone was new, so no one also knew what they were doing, and it was mostly just chaos. Another week, and the game receives its 3rd update on January 21st. And it hits its highest concurrent player count to date, 16,453. Dang, that's a lot. This update closed off the D tier and added Bandit and Rogue. At this point, I would have been playing for a week and had around 100 kills and knew how to get my way around. Sure, I didn't know any combos still and spammed, but at least I spammed with purpose now. I had 3 of my friends join the game and all 3 of us would play daily right after school. Now, me personally, I don't have the best reputation with Bandit. I've hated it since released. I couldn't pull off its combos and couldn't even understand how the class itself worked. Meanwhile, others were fucking me up with extremely long combos and I had to sit there and suffer. The class would be nerfed later, but it couldn't nerf my hates that has carried on to this day. Rogue was fine, nothing too shabby. A week later, the game would receive its 4th update, and it would add Monk as the first C tier class, M1 trading as well, 2v2 ranked, emotes, and would rework Rogue's VFX. I personally remember this update because me and my friends would dominate in ranked 2v2. We were doing this race as to which team could get to silver faster. We won, of course. Right? I don't believe these guys. At this point in time, the game would gain more and more popularity, driving more and more people in and getting 8,000 players average and peaking at around 12,000 every time the game updated. People would start getting better at the game, developing combos and introducing the earliest versions of DCE. Fast forward, 3 weeks later, on February 17th, the game would still consistently update every week, and I would still play pretty often. But on this day, the game would introduce Samurai, a class so broken, so buggy, and so overpowered that people believed this is when the game started falling off, barely a month after its release. On release, most of Samurai's moves went through hyper armor iframes, and its hitboxes were so big it put the sun to shame. Me and my friend abused this though and just terrorized everyone that night of the update. I personally had a blast. Now, to be honest, I didn't play Samurai on release, but even back then, before the Cyberpunk update, Samurai was still broken. There was literally a 300% combo, Lotus Cleave as a counter, and more. And even after the Cyberpunk update, there was still new techs, like there was a double knockback and stuff like that. Anyways, sadly though, a week later, one of my 3 friends I played with quit the game. Fast forward to 2 months later, and C tier gotten done with the last class being Demon, and ever since Samurai, the game wouldn't be the same. In March, the game only updated twice, once every 2 weeks. It would start only releasing 1 character per update, and have this habit of releasing characters that are overpowered and buggy on release, with the likes of Wizard, Kraken, and Demon all being stupidly broken at their release, each having ridiculous combos and recovery. And according to older players that I've talked about, Wizard was so buggy that the abilities would literally just straight up break the servers. I don't even know how you do that. Personally, I felt the game started falling off at Wizards. At this point in time, I stopped playing the game frequently and would play once or twice a week for an hour or 2 with my friends, but I'd still be there for each update and abusing the new classes every time. But when Wizard came out, another one of my friends quit and I was left with only one of them. But it was still so much fun, even with only him. At this point, me and him would just abuse bugs and just get kills. Another month passed again, and only 2 updates released. At this point, a trend started to get picked up. Every class they released was taking a lot of inspiration from other media, and this class wouldn't be any different. May 25th, 2024. The day I believe Project Smash really started to take a nosedive. On this day, the game introduced the second B-tier character, Wraith.
Pathetic.
Oh, shit's about to get heated in what she wrote. That's for dang sure. This update really divided the community too. Wraith had 2 different movesets. Not the first time we've seen this, but it also had 7 moves, which was a first. Now, this class had a steep learning curve, but also was so overpowered and easy to use at the same time. During May, me and my friends started playing more regularly, so we had gotten way better at the game and considered ourselves among the top at the time. But after Wraith dropped, we had no clue on how he worked, and the best combo we could find was barely above 60%. This was actually most people's reactions, to be honest. If you go to, for example, Holy Grail's Wraith video, he also didn't understand the class at all. And in my own experience, I didn't even know Judgment Cut End was a thing until someone actually explained it to me. Now, this is when we usually abuse the class when it's still fresh and overpowered, but this time we couldn't do it because we didn't even understand it. We were hearing how broken it was, and we were soon about to find out that they weren't exaggerating. Now tell me why devs thought it was a good idea to give Wraith a ranged auto-lock-on move with no startup or end lag and stunned for 2 seconds. You basically had to block the entire time while fighting this class because you never knew when it was coming, and when it did, you basically had no time to react, and it had insane range. Imagine if that still existed today. Wraith mains spam blade volley more than ever, like their life depends on it. Without this nerf, we'd be seeing a fuck ton of abuse with this blade volley. And to be honest, I'd probably find more text. Now, I could go on about Wraith and how stupid it was on release, but honestly, I've done it over and over again that I'm tired. Guys, it's okay, she loves me, alright? Now, this is the update where most people started quitting, and I included the last friend I played with. It kinda hurt me because now I was left alone. It didn't quite hurt my playtime though, as I still played regularly. Now, 3 updates later, it's July, and Project Smash just released Brawler. The game would only peak at 4,000 players when it dropped, a crazy decrease from its average 12,000 peak on update days. The other 2 updates added a kill zone so people couldn't be immortal anymore, and the classes, Gambler and Reaper. At this point in time, I had already started to slow down on playing the game. All my friends quit, and I just fell into the endless loop of kill, 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 and kill. And this got stale pretty fast. The game started to die for me until I joined the Discord server. Now at the time I had acquired the artist role in the server back in June. This artist role gave me image and link perms, which people my level didn't have, and it was pretty cool. I slowly then started blending into the community and becoming more present. Now I must say, I am not the most sane person, as I've said and done very horrid things in this server. There's things that she says that I can't show or my video would get age restricted. Just letting y'all know. But my time there at the beginning was very fun. Fast forward a month later and it's September. Project Smash hasn't updated in 2 months. The game is barely averaging 2,000 players. It basically became the meaning of insanity. The acting of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. That was me in this period, just killing and killing players alone over and over again, and expecting it to be fun at some point. I had hope. I didn't want this game that I love so much, that I have so many memories with, to go away. I didn't want to leave it behind. So I just kept doing it again, kill after kill, every day during summer, expecting to find the fun and joy I once had in this game the months prior. This was a dark age of the game, at least for me. Until finally the devs announced they were finally going to update this shitty game. On September 2016, we finally get a date for the update. It be coming on September 28th at 3 a.m. This was the usual time updates usually dropped in my time zone, so I was hyped and ready to pull off an all-nighter. 2 days late, and the update dropped, and I felt so underwhelmed. This updated added 2 classes, Private Server Plus, and new maps. I remember vividly, my live reaction when this update dropped was like, that's all? That's it? 2 months for just this? The maps are not even made by you. They're old classic maps, you just paste it onto the game. Characters used to take 1 week, man, and in 2 months this is what we have? I was pretty disappointed. I mean, no disrespect to the devs, kudos on their work, but 2 months just for this? You may ask, well, maybe the classes were cool and unique and new and completely balanced and absolutely stunning and cool. Well, if you ask that, you're half right. Both classes were cool and stunning, but one was overly underpowered and riddled with bugs, and the other one was overly overpowered and also riddled with bugs. Those classes being Cyberpunk and Zeus. Really cool concepts, really flashy and cool moves on Cyberpunk, and amazing visuals on Zeus. But they were the same quality as the ones we had gone months prior in a 1 to 2 weeks wait. Alright, so my own opinion on these 2 classes is that she's kinda right. Zeus used to be overpowered as fuck, but now that he got nerfed to the ground, nobody uses it, and he's one of the worst classes, just being a pure V2 with more damage and less spam. Cyberpunk, on the other hand, is still underpowered compared to the other B tiers, but he's extremely spammable and flashy. Many people thought this update would revive the game. Spoiler alert, it didn't. It peaked at 8,000 players but fell down to 2,000 after the following days. The community started complaining about the game being too repetitive and boring, and many were quitting. It wasn't looking good for Project Smash until a month later on October 31st, when they released an update. At this point, the updates are monthly and they only give 1 character. This update gave us Alien, Rank 3v3s, lots of rank changes, new rank maps, and voxel destruction. Many were excited about the destruction, hoping it'd bring something new to the game. Personally, I didn't care as I had grown tired of the game at this point. This update, I somehow managed to get all of my 3 friends that left and quit the game to hop on for this update. I was really excited, like really excited. I finally was playing again with the original gang. Fast forward a few hours later, me and them are just messing around in the game when the update finally drops at the usual 3 a.m. Servers reset and we checked to see the class and it costed just a bit of money. Like, what the fuck is this? We laughed it off though, and after a few minutes it was fixed and we bought it. We tested the character, did our usual shenanigans, and found multiple bugs. Like a fuck ton of bugs. Usually when we used to test classes, we found bugs, sure, but not this abnormal amount. It kind of ruined it. And let me tell you, even to this day, Alien is riddled with bugs, so much so that it is impossible to use. There's a double knockback with 4 as the lost move, the 1 sometimes doesn't even hit, The only intended true extender, being 4 and 2, just breaks the stun after like 5 seconds of doing it, and this has been an issue since release. And Alien hasn't gotten any changes nor bug fixes after, other than a text on one of the moves. After playing for only an hour with the classes, one by one, my friends each started logging off, and the last one, before he left, said, "It just isn't the same anymore." It affected me. This really hurt. The game I grew to love so much just didn't feel the way it used to. Perhaps I just played it too much? No, but my friend said it himself, and he hasn't played in months. Maybe the game just changed? I remember after he left the call and said the words he said, I sat back and stared at my screen as the usual chaos in a Project Smash public server happened, as I thought of when I started playing with my friends. The fun I'd have just watching such chaos, but now it's not the same. It's not the same clueless players who collectively don't know shit about the game and are just doing whatever. No, this one was one where noobs were being manhandled by skilled players. There was nothing fun or chaotic, nothing unexpected. It was all boring. There was nothing to do anymore. Sure, I could go out there and kill some noobs with them, but isn't that what I've been doing for the past 3 months? This is where the game has gone on a toll, and it's what I've been thinking about as well. Usually there's a skill gap between newer players, average players, and tryhards or top players. Back then, it wasn't that big, but now the skill gap is just way too massive. Techs are being discovered every fucking day, consistent or not, and that's by teams of people who spend all their time on Project Smash. It might sound ironic considering the fact that I made techs and grinded Wraith a lot, but when the Wraith changes came in, I wasn't even that excited, because on the first nerf, I found a tech that completely buffed Wraith, and to this day, Wraith is still the same thing except buffed but more complex, and it's just genuinely boring. The same bullshit again and again. It wasn't fun anymore. I slowly started playing less Project Smash again. Currently, the latest updates have added Beast and Yeti, which are both cool, but after using them for like a day, it gets boring again. And I don't know what to do. I've called my friends again and tried playing with them, but still doesn't feel the same, still is boring. I kept punching a bag full of coins and again until there was no coins left. But I still kept punching in hopes more would fall. Today, the game only averages 1,500 players, and when the latest update dropped, it only peaked at 2,000. What a fall from grace. What caused it though? What caused it all? At first, I believed it was the devs and that they had gone lazier and lazier. From 2 characters a week to 1 character a month that have arguably the same quality as the ones from months ago. Who wouldn't blame them? From empty promises to laziness. Everyone. Sure, it was partially their fault, but the entirety of it. The slowdown of character additions was because of an old dev of the game who designed the framework, made it complicated and overbearing to use, with one of the currents qualified it as a first attempt at making a game, due to just how complicated it was. So it wasn't really their fault why the addition of new classes were slow, they just didn't know we were having big trouble using the framework. But at the same time, all I can't help but stress the fact that the gameplay is boring. The slow addition of characters isn't really the issue to why it's boring. It only plays an extremely slow part. This is where I blame the devs, because they just do the bare minimum every update, and just add a character that gets boring within 2 days of using it in hopes to at least keep the player count over at 1,000. It is so sad to see, honestly. They also don't listen to their community, claiming the community doesn't know what it wants, which is just utter bullshit. When they're who the game is for. There are thousands of suggestions on classes and quality of life, and ways to make the game just more fun and less repetitive. But no, the devs have to keep their massive egos and bump out their bare minimum updates every month. I'm gonna be completely honest here. I agree a bit with their opinion. Even though there's a new dev and a VFX artist back in the making, the characters still take a month and they're quite boring. About the frameworks, one of the new developers has said that it is so complicated they had to take a while, which is also why Beast took very long to make, because the dev is still trying to learn the framework. But anyways, Beast was cool and all, but it had issues with ping. Yeti was confusing as shit, and it goes the same route as Cyberpunk, underpowered and flashy. Also, if you remember my video when Beast was added, I added some spoilers at the end, and Josh, one of the developers, confirmed that the emotes would be added at the same time as Yeti. But we didn't even get him! We were promised the emotes update already twice, with the first time being for the Cyberpunk update. At the time that I'm writing this script, it has been almost 6 months ago since the emotes update were first shown in the sneak peeks. I'm not even joking. Okay, Editor KingDooms here. I was originally going to talk about another problem, which was the QBE and stuff like that, but I felt like it was way better if I just didn't talk about it, due to the fact that there are ongoing changes right now. The Discord server is having an entire rework. The next update has already had some leaks, and apparently it's bound to be big, with 6 new classes all suggested by the QBE, allegedly. The problem is that there's way too much different variations of information going on about the new update, so we don't entirely know what's going to be added. Like, one of the QBEs leaked some stuff to the drama, and they revealed 2 class names, those being Phoenix and Princess, apparently, and the Princess was nicknamed as Goblin, and it was a modded character. Can you see where I'm going with this? But yeah, basically for like 4 minutes I was going to be complaining about the QBE and some changes that they made, but one, I want to make my script as understandable as possible. And not gonna lie, my script was full of bullshit that even after writing it, I don't even understand it. So it's better to just not talk about things I don't agree with right now. But also, too, I don't want to get into potential drama. I don't know how the QB actually acts and stuff like that. I also don't know how the developer team acts. That's also true. But I'm way more close with the QBE, and the dev teams don't really talk. And I'm allowed to criticize, alright? Anyways, just roll the credits. That way I need to get into the chair and fireplace. There we go. All cozy and whatever. That's all I have to say. This is my final message to Project Smash, as I'm fully quitting it and likely not touching it again. It was so hard and sad to watch this unfold. A game that once was considered the best game of 2024, fallen from grace. I know I may not be the most important or famous member, and honestly, most of y'all don't even care if I leave or not, but I just wanted to share this. Thank you for all the memories, Project Smash. You'll always hold a special spot in my heart for being my favorite game on Roblox. Thank you for all the friends you've gave me, all the moments, all the laughs, anger, sadness, everything. Thank you.